So that's me. My name's Allie Yancey, and I'm a certified peer educator. That just means I took that class that you're in pause right now. And this is a presentation on stress management. So we're just going to talk about what is stress, like why do we feel stress, and some things that we can do to like combat those feelings. Do you feel stressed right now? Oh shoot. Okay. Well, we're going to help you. Okay. So before we start the presentation, I'm going to give you a little worksheet. This is called a stress scale. So basically what it is, this is so weird. It's a bunch of different like events that may have happened to you like within the past year or any time in your life. And so you're just going to mark like each one that has like that you can relate to, and then at the end you'll just see like how many checks you have. It's just like basically a thing to like see, I don't know, it's good to like look at why you're stressed, like what things have happened. So I'll just give you like a couple minutes to do that. You can just let me know when you're done. When you do what? Awesome. Okay. So, okay, go ahead. You can just like look at it yourself and kind of like look at how many you checked off. But question for you, what kind of feelings are you having? Like, how do you feel about this worksheet slash your stress level?
Actually, I didn't check as many as I
Oh, really? Um, okay, so you didn't check off as many as you thought you would. Are you surprised by that, or do you think like you would have had more or something?
Yeah, I thought I would have had way more on there.
Really? Okay, so does that make you feel like more stressed or less stressed?
Plus,
Oh, that's awesome. This like worksheet is intended for you to like, yeah, just like I said before, like be able to look and like point out reasons why you may be feeling stressed. Because when we know why we're stressed, we're able to better like, you know, help ourselves in that way. So awesome. Yeah, you can keep that worksheet. It's good to have sometimes. um, Okay, so stress is the number one reported impediment to academic performance. So for a lot of college students, we often feel stress because of our classes and because of school. Just all the things that school comes with brings us a lot of stress. So I'm glad you're here because we are students. Um, so let's talk about stress. Yes, college can be stressful. We have a lot of assignments. We have a lot of demands on our time and energy, and even on our emotions and our intellect. And we have a lot of obligations, like especially if you're involved outside of school, or if you have a family or a job. We just have a lot of demands, and when we add on tests and homework and whatever it may be, we tend to get very stressed and don't know what to do. Um, Also, for a lot of people, they're adjusting to a new environment, and so that can create a lot of stress, especially for like freshman students or transfer students. Oh, Um, so, stress, the definition of stress is a non-specific response of the body to any perceived demand. Um, so there are two types of stress. One is called eustress and one is called distress. Have you heard of these two before? Yeah. So yeah, you might know what they are already. But basically the difference is distress is like the bad type of stress. So it's when we have a ton to do and we're like going crazy. And then eustress is actually a good type of stress, which a lot of people aren't super aware of because stress sounds like a negative term. But eustress is actually a good thing. And let me explain. So we have this nice little graph scale here. And so as you can see, the eustress is in the middle and it's like the highest part of the graph. And so like right in the middle there is kind of the point where we want to be, because eustress is like, you know, if you get a new job or like you are like kind of excited about something, you know, that's kind of like a good stress feeling. And so if you're like more left on the scale, you're kind of like, honestly, you're kind of bored. And so a lot of people will like not be happy with themselves and that can cause like distress, you know. And then if you go the other way, it's like, okay, that's not a healthy stress level. So you kind of want to be like, you know, excited about life and like motivated. And so that's basically like what eustress is. So some stress is good, surprisingly. And stress occurs when the demands of our life exceed our ability to cope. Yeah, so basically, especially being a student, we have a lot of demands and they pile up. Why do we experience stress? So it's actually an evolutionary basis. And what I mean by that is way back in the day when people like were cavemen and stuff, we like have natural reactions. So like, let's say someone is like in the middle of nowhere and like a bear comes and they're like, okay, like what do I do? And so the three options, like the way our body responds is either fight, flight, or freeze. Have you heard of these three? Yeah. And so basically it's exactly how it sounds. So like you can choose to like fight this stressful situation like right up front. You can also choose to like run away really quickly and like avoid everything, or just like some people will just freeze and not know what to do. So this is actually a very common response to stress. You know, if you have a lot of homework, you can like be someone who maybe like can't sleep until they get it done, so they like fight it as fast as they can, or like you know, go to 3 movies and then you don't finish your homework, you know, you run away from it. Or freeze when you just like, you're like, there's so much I don't know what to do, like you're frozen, you know. So, and as a result of this, like our bodies have cognitive, physical, and behavioral like reactions to this, which I'll talk about in a second. Yeah, does this make sense so far? Okay, cool. I always do that. So question for you. You feel free to share if you want, but if you like, share at your own comfortability. But what are some like potential sources of stress like in your life? If you don't have to share either if you don't want to.
Just time management for me, like figuring out like demands of everyday life and just making time for everything like work, school, and then married life, just balancing it all out. Like I've never been good with time management anyways. And so like this is the first semester that I've actually added work onto school life and married life. So yeah, trying to balance that all out this semester.
So real, yeah. Time management is like one of the hardest things, especially because there's so many different, you have family, you have school, a job. That is so real. Time management is so hard. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can probably, you're not alone in that, you know? Common sources of stress for students, which you'll probably be able to relate to some of these. Separation from family, maybe not so much in this, but interpersonal relationships, so like friends, family, colleagues, just pretty much anyone that can add stress to our lives. Cultural experiences, unfortunately, like discrimination causes a lot of stress for a lot of people, and stuff such as that. Academic demands, which is a classic. Peer pressure, unfortunately, also. Competition, work-related concerns, very real. Increased freedom and responsibilities for freshmen who are coming and they're like, I'm free. That can be kind of stressful. And then over-involvement. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that too. Lack of balance too, yes. So like time management, you know. Um, so here I'm going to go through a couple of like symptoms of stress. Um, and some of these you might not be able to relate to, but some of them you might. Just because you don't relate to some doesn't mean that you're not stressed. And then, you know, you just have to see like kind of what you're feeling. Um, so like thoughts and cognitions. So like a lot of time when people are stressed, they will like really like have negative self-talk and they'll be like, you know, I'm not able to do this right now. And then like it kind of like snowballs into just this negative mindset where you're just like have low self-esteem and just this fear, difficulty making decisions that often happens when people get into that mindset. Um, yeah, and it's sometimes really hard to get out of that mindset once you're starting. Um, some physical indicators. A lot of people with headaches or hello. Sleep disturbances, weight change, fatigue, or illness. So this is like for some people, if they feel stressed or anxious, they'll be able to feel it in their stomach, or you know, like each person kind of has like a place where they feel stressed the most. So that may happen if you're feeling stressed. Do you need me to go back? Am I going too fast? Wait, go back. Okay, sorry. Yeah, just tell me if I need to. Oh, shoot. Okay, there we go. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go. I'll give you a second. Awesome. And we also have emotional indicators, which a lot of people can maybe relate to this one more, such as sadness, irritability, worry, or moodiness. People will tend to feel these things and not know, like, you know, nothing big has happened in their lives, but they have these feelings, and it's oftentimes from stress. Um, so that's one. And then we have behavioral indicators, and so yeah, a lot of times people will withdraw from others and, um, you know, they'll have trouble getting stuff done and like impulsive behaviors and conflict and decreased motivation. And so these are all behaviors that like people will find themselves having after a large amount of stress. Yeah, that could definitely happen. Yeah, so like just so somebody has like these behavioral indicators, like, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that they like have depression or anything, but the two can definitely coincide. Like someone can have a lot of stress and that can like spiral, you know, like yeah, it can come in different ways for different people, but I'd say it's definitely possible to be related. Cool. Um, okay, so some things to consider just to like some good questions to think about in your own life, like how do I deal with stress? Like, are you living a healthy lifestyle? Is your support system positive for you? And how can I broaden my support network? Um, these are just good things to like when you're feeling stressed, you can, I don't know, kind of like go through these questions and be like, okay, like how's my support system? And if you check up on each subject, sometimes you can find like, oh, my support system is not positive for me. Like maybe that's contributing to my stress level. But you know, there's a lot more questions you can go through, but like it's good to check in with yourself and see like, um, yeah, just see how yourself is doing. I think that's really important. Sweet. Mhm. Okay, so here I have like 5 facts about coping with stress. So one, if you try to ignore it, it will not go away. A lot of people are like, oh, if I just like push it away and don't think about it, it'll go away, which is definitely not true. Um, that's an easy one to fall into. Number two, stress is not the same for everybody. So someone you know might be feeling stressed and they might be having um, a lot of emotional indicators, and like maybe you're having a lot of physical effects. And so it doesn't mean anyone's stress is worse or better than another, but people just take things differently. That's just people. Stress can be managed. It's hard to sometimes, but it's so possible. Like we can definitely find ways to help ourselves get through these like harder situations or overwhelming situations. It can feel hopeless sometimes, so it's good to know that like, yes, we can manage this, you know? Yes, like I said before, you can be stressed without showing signs. It doesn't lessen your feelings or lessen the amount of stress you may be having. Um, And even if you may not be feeling stressed right now, it is always helpful to manage symptoms of stress before they become major, or just before, like, if you're not feeling stressed right now, it is not a bad idea to like prevent stress from happening. So like time management, like maybe get a schedule and like, you know, try to prevent like possible situations that may make you feel stressed in the future. Or yeah, if you have symptoms a little bit, like try to like evaluate, like try to point them out and try to help them now before it would maybe get worse in the future. Cool. Some stress management techniques. So a big one is to talk to someone who is supportive. I think this is huge to have a support system. Like even just talking out your situation and just telling your feelings can help so much. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, like there are a lot of people on campus, I'll talk about that later, but there are a lot of resources we have to like provide people to help you in that. Manage your time. This one's a hard one. Set a schedule. Try not to overdo yourself. Yeah, a planner really helps me sometimes. Like, I don't know, I'll be able to like write little times. It's helpful. Deep breathing, we'll do like a short exercise after this, but it sounds kind of like, oh, okay, deep breathing will help, but like it actually does. I've done it before. It really like, it just like calms the inside of you. So that's always helpful. Exercise is a really common one. A lot of people feel less stressed after they like have some consistent exercise, and that probably goes along with like eating healthy or generally, you know, taking care of your body is good. Oh, I have to. Listen to music, that's always good. And then laughing, I think that one's really good too. Find someone who can tell you a joke, maybe. Yes, along with taking care of your body, like making sure you're sleeping 8 hours, which is huge for college students because that's a big one. Meditate or pray. These ones are always really good too, depending on like your religious background or just like meditating. You can just like calm. I like to think of it as just like calming your mind, like being in the moment kind of thing. Help someone else. That's always a good, helps you feel better and like, I don't know, it feels good to help someone else. And so that will sometimes help you with feelings of stress. Take a mental health day. I'm all about that. Take a mental health day. And then a positive self-talk. I just bolded this one because like, I think this is similar to the deep breathing one. This is one that people kind of like, they rule out. They're like, oh, okay, like you can talk to yourself positively, but like it makes a huge difference. Like when you make a habit in your mind of like being like, no, like you are going to do this, you know, like I can get this done. Like it makes a huge difference, and it takes like practice. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of practice, but I can guarantee it helps a ton. Yeah. So, oh, cool. Here's a little breathing activity that I have. I'll give you a sheet. It's a nice little frog on it. So yeah, this is the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. And so basically, well, okay, I'll explain it and we'll do it real quick. But you like breathe in for 4 seconds, then you hold for 7 seconds, and then you like breathe out for 8 seconds. Okay, so if you want to, you can close your eyes and I'll count and then, yeah, okay. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's always good to do that like 4 or 5 times. If you're feeling stressed, like just remember like 4, 7, 8, like do it like 4 times. It gets the heart rate down. It's just very helpful. So you can take that worksheet. Hopefully it helps in the future. More stress management. So yes, K-State offers a lot of different resources for people who are struggling in this way or in any way really. We have individual, group, and couples therapy. Yeah, we have 4 free sessions per academic year, I believe, which is a great opportunity. And then I think after that you have to pay a certain amount, but it's way cheaper than like an outside of university session. Yeah, those are great resource. Stress management online workshop, that's through our website. I think it's on like counseling services website, but it's like this whole like thing about stress management. You can like take, yeah, it's a workshop. So it's like you like learn a bunch of stuff about stress management. It might be similar to this presentation too. There's another workshop about academic anxiety. You're at the Cat Chat right now. These are every Tuesday at the same time, I believe. Pause, you're also in that class. So pause class, yeah, we basically have a bunch of different topics such as depression, anxiety, like alcohol abuse, stress, covers a bunch of different topics and helps people become certified peer educators. And so it's always great to learn about ourselves and like about issues like these. Pet Away Stress is an event that we do twice a semester. People love to pet animals. It helps people a lot, surprisingly. And University Life Cafe is, I believe, an online resource. I think it's just universitylifecafe.com, but they have other resources as well. Did you need that? Are you good? That's good. Okay. This video was a short, okay, yeah, it's a short clip and it's a short TED Talk about this lady who like is talking about funny ways to like get out of stress. So I'll just explain it. She like basically is talking about the workplace and she's like, when I'm feeling really stressed, like I'll just like smile and then like my coworkers know like, oh, that's like a stress smile, like stay away. But she's like, you know, putting a smile on my face sometimes helps me feel less stressed. And then she's like, other times like I'll just like put my fingers like this and like squish people's heads. You know, she just does like silly techniques. But you know, I think it's important to like be lighthearted and like just to like take deep breaths and like live. I think it's important to like be present and yeah, it's just important to know like our stress levels and how to manage them. And so I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you for coming.